And now, coming live from the Midwest Racks and Rods studio, it's the Outdoors Show with your host, Scott, I'm Too Hot, Bisco Bing, and Chris, I'm not Mexican, but I like my hot tamales, Tamale.
All right.
Well, that was quite the introduction.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of the Midwest Racks and Rods Outdoor Show. As you just heard, I'm one of your hosts, Scott Piscabing, and to my right is Chris, the hot tamale Damali.
That's right.
I think that's how it went.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We got a great show for you tonight, and we got some great things coming up here in the future that we'll get to a little bit later on in the show. But one of the first segments we want to kind of do here, it's a new segment, I should say.
Something we're trying. See if you like it.
It's our top 5 in the news.
Well, I think we only have 4. Is it 5?
Well,
We have the news.
The 5 is our fail.
Oh, yeah.
Fail of the
Yeah,
episode.
I'm sorry. All right. With that being said,
Chris, you want to kick us off with number 1 here?
sure. The first thing is Mountain Dew brings back the outdoor stimulus. So Mountain Dew is offering everyone a chance to win $25 stimulus to fuel your outdoor adventure. So that being said, they're giving $1 million in prizes. Basically, you buy your hunting, your fishing, ATV pass, whatever. And then once you purchase it, you go to the Mountain Dew website, scan your license, and enter to win. So not everybody gets it. It's sort of, like a prize thing. And if you are a winner, you can keep your gift card or donate it to an accredited nonprofit outdoors group. So I think that's sort of cool.
Did they have like a list or anything like that of what some of the accredited groups are?
No, you put it in, and if your group is not in there, you write it in.
Oh,
And I think they make sure it's like a 501c3 nonprofit.
Sure. Okay.
So,
well, that's cool. That's interesting.
so there's that one. Ready? That didn't work. There's the fail.
And there's our epic fail, folks. All right.
All right. What do you got?
Number 2, we've got where is all the ammo? That is a great question. Where is all the ammo? Well, we got an article here from Ammo Nation Outdoors, and the president of Federal Premium Ammunition, Jason Vanderbrink, he's got an idea, or I shouldn't say an idea, he's got an explanation to where the ammo is, but one of the big things that keeps popping up is, and it was in this article, is conspiracy theories as to what's really going on with the ammunition. One of which is companies are stockpiling their product to drive up demand, and I don't necessarily think that's totally a conspiracy theory. I think there's some truth to that, honestly.
Well, I don't know if they're talking about the company themselves or the stores, but
Oh, okay, sure.
it wouldn't benefit the company because then they run out of warehouse space,
Right.
and they can't keep producing. So
Correct.
they're not making
I was
money
thinking
if it's
more
not
along
going
the
up.
lines of, I guess I read that wrong. I'm thinking more along of businesses in that,
I don't think it would do a business any good either. But, I did notice, I sent you that picture earlier this week. There was one box of ammo on the shelf for $45,
Yeah,
which is normally, $12? So,
right. I mean, it's gotten pretty crazy.
and I didn't think you were allowed to price gouge. I mean, when the hurricane.
That's true.
So, do we introduce our producer or what?
We do have our producer here behind the scenes here. We just started this here. He's kind of been working into the fold here over the last couple episodes.
He's been a part of our team since the start.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But,
and so everybody say hi to Drew Biscabang, who happens to be my brother.
Say hi, Drew.
Hi, Drew.
There you go. So, little comic relief there, but it's a lot easier for Scott and I to concentrate and doing the show and having Drew run it. And
Absolutely.
so thanks, Drew. And all right, let's keep going. So
number the second conspiracy theory is that ammo plants have shut down completely. And number 3 is ammo companies are in cahoots to stop selling to civilians and are now selling only to the military. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've heard them. I've definitely heard these theories out there.
Yeah.
But what Jason Vanderbrink, like I said, the president of Federal Premium Ammunition, what he has to say is accessing materials has been another challenge for all ammo companies and for individual reloaders. Primers are hard to come by since there's been such a surge in factory ammo, and brass is another challenge, Vanderbrink says. The brass market, for the most part, is seeing unprecedented demand not only in the ammo market, but in the national coin shortage. That is certainly driving brass prices up and availability down, he says. Brass is a hard commodity to acquire right now, and every round that any ammo company makes, for the most part, has brass in it. So take that for, what it is, or for what he has to say, and that's his thoughts on it.
I mean, I guess I understand that. I'm still not sure how there's a national coin shortage. I mean, I've heard that for like the last year. And you go to some of the restaurants or fast food, they want you to pay an exact change. And I'm not that has to do with the outdoors. It's just odd. Where did the change go?
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. Where is, what's this? What's going
But
on?
as far as the brass, yeah, I mean, the cartridges are brass, primers.
Right.
And one of the other things in that article was talking about, for a while when Obama was president, they were selling tons and tons of ammo.
Yeah.
And when Trump, when he became president, it became more lax because people weren't afraid of their guns and their rights being taken away.
Right.
And now with the change of regime again, people started buying, and now it's gone. And one of the things that this guy says is, we had laid people off. We were running at an even keel, and now, boom, everybody's out all at once. So they have to train their people and get it going and add extra shifts. That's not going to happen overnight.
No.
And especially because people are hoarding, like, the toilet paper, So
yeah, I mean, the toilet paper, that's a good point there, because, I mean, you think about what happened with when this pandemic first started and with everybody hoarding the toilet paper is it was kind of irrational. Hoarding is what it was.
Yeah.
But it just kind of feeds off itself, because when the supply goes down, people go into a panic.
They panic.
And any amount of toilet paper they can find, they were buying it up. And I feel it's pretty much the same thing with the ammo situation. People are in a panic mode, and they want to buy up as much because they're like, well, the price is going to go up even higher.
Right.
So,
And I think the guy also went on to say, everybody's wondering, when's it going to end? It's not going to end this year, probably not next year, because people are just going to keep consuming it.
Right.
Yeah. If we're all saving our rounds, then we're really going to have a brass shortage.
That's true.
So, all right.
Moving on. You're up next, Chris. What do we got at number 3?
Speaking of conspiracy theories, in Oklahoma, that's right. So January of 2021, Oklahoma State Rep Justin Humphrey introduced a bill for Bigfoot hunting season in Oklahoma. So according to this, Humphrey didn't expect the legislation to pass. However, he introduced the bill as a ploy to increase tourism and revenue for the state. So initially, he asked the state to give $25,000 to get the ball rolling. But then $2 million for the bounty now comes from a movie producer interested in making a movie in Oklahoma. So that's where a lot of this sort of misconception that the state of Oklahoma's giving $2 million. It's rather this movie producer putting up the money. But so far, with all the media buzz, his failed bill did exactly what he wanted it to do, which is what increase the tourism to get people talking about making Oklahoma their next vacation destination. So
Sure, because you never know. You might be able to catch Bigfoot. And I know, Chris, your
Bigfoot is real.
Bigfoot is real.
I've seen a Bigfoot.
You have claimed that
Yeah,
on multiple occasions.
yeah. Well, I've only seen it once, but I've said it a bunch of times. So.
Now, how would one go about catching a live Bigfoot?
Well, I don't know. There are a few TV shows out there that there's like Alaskan monster guys and there's Appalachian monster questers. I forget what they are, and I think Discovery or Travel Channel. And they're out there. Those guys are they're crazy people. They're mountain men. They're hillbillies to say the least. But I'm not buying into one of those shows. However,
Okay.
there's some good footage. A guy named Jeff Standing, who's from British Columbia. There's videos all over the internet, and it's pretty compelling. It's sort of spooky how lifelike these faces are. And there's a couple of no, for real. There's a couple of doctors of what do you call it? The PhDs that
That's what a doctor is, yeah.
well, some are medical doctors. This is
Maybe
not
like,
an
is
MD.
this like a paleontologist?
Yeah, kind of archaeologist, kind of doctor thingy. But they follow
Cryptobiologist.
no no. Bigfoot's real, folks. I'm telling you.
You mentioned these shows, and I'll tell you this. Like, I've watched a few of these shows. I mean, and not in their entirety. But
Exactly. So you don't know the reality.
what I
You
will
laughed
say,
real hard and you turn the channel.
what I will say is, for whatever reason, one of the clips I continue to see over and over again, or variations of the same thing, is a group of guys out there with ARs, and they're searching through some hills in Appalachia or wherever.
Oh, there he goes.
And no, it's not that. There's a structure. There's a makeshift lean-to that it looks like a couple second graders went out and behind the park
Well, right.
and built, and they're like, that's a Bigfoot shelter. That's one of his beds. And then
And they whisper when they say it.
Billy Bob or Billy Joe climbs in there and says, look, and 5'8" Billy Bob, Billy Joe barely fits in it. Like, yep, see, this is definitely a Bigfoot bed.
Yeah.
Like, what a baby Bigfoot? What are we talking about here? I'm like,
Yeah, no. So
yeah, okay.
they've even unearthed in the United States and like the Carolinas and out west, they've unearthed these what they call the 9-foot giant people. So they're 9 foot, no, for real. And according to American Indian, I don't know, history,
Lore?
legend, lore, and that they claim that these 9-foot red-haired beasts came down from the hills.
Oh, okay. So now we're picking on gingers.
Yes.
Unreal.
Well, they could be Irish. They come down from the hills or mountains or wherever these the Indians were, and they would grab the people, and apparently they were some type of cannibal, race of cannibals, 9-foot cannibals.
So they ate themselves out of it.
Out of
Into
existence.
extinction.
I don't know. That's right.
Wow. All right.
So that proves Bigfoot's real.
Absolutely. You're
Moving on.
okay. So number 4 on our list is the 2020 fall turkey success rate is up from previous years, and that's here in Wisconsin.
Not by my doing.
No, not at all. The article there, I've got an article from Paul Smith of the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and it states that hunters registered 4,600 birds during the fall season, a 21% year-over-year increase. And the 81,710 harvest authorizations issued for the season represents a 9% increase from 2019. The data are consistent with a trend of increased participation during the coronavirus pandemic of most forms of outdoor recreation. Fall turkey hunting license sales were no exception to the trend, and hopefully this sparked interest and recruited new hunters who will participate for years to come, said Elena Gertis, DNR assistant.
What's that name again?
I just said it. You can watch the show back later. She's an assistant upland wildlife ecologist. Harvest success rate in 2020 was 5.6%, up slightly from 5.1% in 2019. The success rate is calculated based on the number of harvest authorizations sold and is not corrected for non-participation. So I think some of this has to do with the sportsman's license,
Sure.
that are purchased. And when I say that, I'm talking about in terms of the 81,710 harvest authorizations, because the fall structure is a bit different than spring turkey hunting.
Well, fall's included with a lot of the licenses.
Right, and I believe it is with the sportsman.
Right.
As well. So, but with the number of birds that were harvested, registered 4,600 birds, and that 21% increase, I mean, obviously, like it says in the article, that's most likely due to the pandemic. And, hey, if it gets people outdoors, if there's any one positive thing getting people out in the outdoors, hey, that's a great thing.
It is. And I know last year's turkey season got somebody excited to go again this year. Our Mr. Producer Man over there.
Yeah, he's super excited. Drew, how excited are you for spring turkey?
I can't even put it into words. Definitely something I'm looking forward to. Still think my first experience doing the spring turkey hunt was one of my best hunting experiences ever, and I cannot wait to get back out there and get me a thunder chicken.
What was the one thing about turkey hunting that excited you the most?
Dinner.
Just one. That is tough. I would have to, the first time I heard a call and actually feeling it reverberate off my chest.
When you got a gobble back.
Yeah,
from calling and that, especially when they get close.
Oh, man.
When they get that close, like it's
indescribable.
It really is.
All right, Drew. So turkey hunting, fishing, or deer hunting? Put them in order, 1 to 3.
Turkey, deer, fishing.
Oh, what about you?
For me, it's definitely deer first, and then I think turkey and then fish. But they're all very close. It's deer, turkey, fish. They're really close.
Definitely deer for me, fishing second, turkey last.
Sure.
Because turkeys are always safe around me.
I was going to say, I mean, I completely understand. I mean, you got to kill them before you're going to have any real excitement about it.
Well, last year I messed up on my season picking the dates or the zone. So, yeah, I think it was I want to blame the DNR for giving me the wrong tag, but whatever. Moving on.
All right, so that's turkey.
All right, that one worked. So,
let's get to our fail.
All right. So, fail alert. All right,
all sorts of fails already. There's so many.
All right. So our fail alert here is 3 men charged with $20,000 in fines. 3 men from Harrison Township, Michigan, and Macomb County were arraigned and sentenced on charges related to illegally hunting and baiting waterfowl in December. Richard Schaller, 52, Robert Kosinski, 49, and Timothy Morris, 58, pleaded guilty to a total of 13 misdemeanor charges, including taking and possessing over limit of Canadian geese, over limit of mallards, over limit of hen mallards, and waterfowl over a baited area. So, on December 6th, conservation officers Brad Solori and Chris Keel arrived in the area and, hearing gunshots in the distance, soon located the men, witnessed them group shoot and kill multiple geese. Soloni and Keel approached the men and concluded their hunt began, collecting a number of waterfowl that clearly exceeded daily limits from a pond littered with corn. So,
we talked about this a little bit. Does corn float? I think corn floats.
Corn floats.
I could see corn on the cob floating.
But the kernels,
I think
they float. I think
popcorn floats.
Yeah.
You think they popped a bunch of popcorn and threw it out there?
I don't think they did that. But
All right.
Who's to say?
So continuing, they probably got like caramel corn, all the rainbow colors
It was a tin, a Christmas tin.
that they got from grandma and didn't like it.
This is stale. This is from 20.
Open her up. All right. So the officers also located 3 additional piles of waterfowl hidden in nearby brush and received a confession that one of the men had placed a 50-pound bag of corn a few days earlier because he wanted his hunting party to have a good hunt. Baiting waterfowl is federally prohibited and unlawful in Michigan. So all the game, bait, and firearms were confiscated as evidence. In total, the men killed 39 waterfowl, 23 Canadian geese, which is 14 over the limit, 16 mallards, which is 4 mallards over the total limit, of which 8 were hen mallards, and over limit of 2 hen mallards. So each man was ordered to pay $6,500 in reimbursement to the state, $500 per waterfowl, totaling $19,500, plus court fines totaling more than $3,000. Each man also permanently forfeited the firearms used to take the waterfowl and lost the right to hunt through February of 2022. So definitely big fail there, but I think their fine or their loss of license, a lot of times it's 3 years, isn't it?
Well, I think it's a case by case basis. This is a topic of debate all the time on what fines and consequences there should be when you're poaching or whatever you're doing here illegally when it comes to the outdoors and hunting and fishing and things like that. I'm all for fines and penalties in that. I mean, there's got to be deterrence. We have to do something to deter this. I mean, and we're never going to be able to stop it completely,
right,
obviously, but I think sometimes people need to be made an example of. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you think $6,500 or $500 a bird is enough?
I don't know. That would. I mean, it would.
It would deter me.
Yeah.
But I guess I wouldn't do it in the first place.
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty fair amount, and some might disagree. And I guess if it was higher, I don't think I'd have a problem with that either. I don't really know.
I remember years past, I remember hearing where the DNR would actually confiscate the guy's vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
Or their boat.
Sure,
If they were in a boat hunting these waterfowl, they'd take the boat too, because that was part of the whatever in the crime.
What they were using while they were hunting, or legally hunting.
Right. So
yeah, if you guys have any thoughts, if any of you who are watching, what do you guys think? Is that a fair amount? Do you think consequences should be higher in these kinds of situations? We'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments section. But I'm definitely all for fines and confiscation and things like that. But I do definitely feel like it's also needs to be a case by. You can't just broad brush strokes on things like this. I think it's got to be a case by case situation, and some of it needs to be left up to either the DNR officers involved or the courts that actually do the charging, or the not the charging, but the the conviction, or the
the courts will do that. The DNR just writes the ticket. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, the court system is the one that actually decides.
Yep.
All right. So
flip your card away, homie.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
My card's away.
All right. Well, moving on. Let's get into our main topic of this evening, and that is the effects of social media in the outdoors. I think this is something that I think is really super relevant right now. I think it's been relevant probably for some time now. With the age that we live in now of social media, and how everything is, people have access to everything right at their fingertips, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Right.
I think people become emboldened by the ability to say and do whatever they want from the protection of hiding behind their keyboards, so to speak.
Right. Well, and with not social media, with the coronavirus last year, a lot of people found themselves, I think, more bored and getting online kind of things and going on social media.
Frustrated, depressed, things like that.
Right.
Sure.
But, you are, the comments you see on somebody's innocent post and somebody just berates them for whatever reason, doesn't even have to be an outdoor thing. I think a lot of it's because they're not having that face-to-face interaction. They feel a little more brave, or I guess you'd say cocky, kind of thing. Now, if I would say something to you and lip off to you, you'd smack me one.
I'd smack you, but good.
And sometimes I don't even have to say anything, and he hits me, but
or kick you under the table.
No, that's me kicking you. But yeah, so you don't have that face-to-face discrepancy, where you're going to think twice about saying it.
Right. I mean, let's talk about social media here for a second, just in general. Like, how many years do you think? Let's see. What are we in here? It's 2021. The internet was really starting to pop off in say the late 90s.
Yeah.
Early 2000s. I think there was the forums. It was websites. Social media really wasn't. In terms of pages like Facebook and
right.
Eventually you had MySpace.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. I mean, and that wasn't even so long ago. You know what I mean?
Seems like it.
I want to say, I think I had a MySpace page until I was like 30, 31 years old, something like that.
Well, I'm 31 now, so I was like 11 when it came out.
Yeah. Okay. You are all of.
Thank you. I'll be here a week. Try the veal.
So social media has been around for a while, but there's definitely
There's a swing.
There's definitely been a swing over the last several years. As I always like to say, it's been like 4 or 5 years. Everything. When somebody asks me something like, "Well, how long do you think that was?" It's like, 4 or 5 years ago. Everything for me is like 4 or 5 years ago. But in this case, I think maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
It's my go-to answer.
Is really when I feel like I really noticed a huge uptick in negativity on social media.
Yeah.
And particularly in the outdoors. I mean, we see it every single day in every aspect of social media. But what we're going to talk about here is specifically the outdoors, and that's why I'm going to say, like, I feel like 4 or 5 years ago is when I started noticing more and more people bashing other people on social media.
I think one of the first things, the real bashing would have been, what do you use, a bow or a crossbow? That's use a crossbow. Oh, what are you, a woman? They belittle people for their choice.
Right. Yeah, the crossbow one is a big one, I think. Obviously, crossbow, yeah, I would say that's probably about 4 or 5 years ago, right?
2014, it became legal in the States. So, yeah.
So, all right, so 5, 6 years ago. Yeah, there was definitely a big pushback from anybody who was
anti or against.
Yeah, and it was either, like you said, are you a child? Are you a woman? Are you disabled?
Right.
And if not, you're not, you shouldn't be out in the woods hunting with it.
Right, and then it goes over all the equipment, the broadheads you use, the arrows you use, the technology as it expands, becomes more technical. I guess. Really, do you need that? Somebody else is going to bash. Somebody's always going to find a negative in it.
Oh, most definitely. Going back to the crossbow thing, that's one that's kind of always been a little. I'll admit that early on, like before I ever was forced to use a crossbow, I was a little bit somewhat against them. I wasn't like dead set like I see a lot of people are, but I didn't really understand it. It wasn't until I actually picked one up and tried to hunt with one that I realized I'm like, it has its advantages, but there's also disadvantages with it as well. There's certain things, there's certain movements you can't do. You almost have to have a shooting rail to kind of freestand shoot with a crossbow is really difficult. But regardless of any of those kinds of things, the fact that the matter is we're in a situation here in the hunting industry where we are trying to get more people participating in the outdoors.
And we're fighting amongst ourselves.
And we're fighting amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Like, it shouldn't matter what somebody wants to use. If it gets them outdoors and enjoying the outdoors.
And it's legal. It's a legal method.
Right. One of the arguments you hear is like, well, there's, it's too accurate. Well, what is so bad about being accurate? I mean,
Exactly.
do we want to be wounding animals? Do we want to be taking bad shots?
Right.
Do we want to, shouldn't something that, where there's new compounds coming out all the time
Right.
that are more accurate, that have less let off, easier to draw,
Right.
all these different, it's constantly changing. Sometimes from year to year, it's unbelievable. And it's not just bows and crossbows and things. It's just everything.
Well, and the faster that these bows and crossbows get, more can go wrong.
Right.
Because, when you have a slower, fatter arrow, regardless what it's coming out of, there's a little give. But the faster they go, you hit a twig or anything, you're off, you're done.
Sure.
The faster your projectile is.
Right.
So,
and not to get on a whole big thing here with the crossbows, because that's just one aspect. Another part is people posting pictures of, let's say, the deer they kill. One of the first questions is, what did it score? You see this time and time again. Or people wanting to know what it scores.
yeah, they'll take the trail cam pic.
Yeah.
And then, hey, what do you guys think the score? I don't know if I should do this guy, shoot this guy, or the other one. And you're basing it off other people's opinions. If there's two great deer, I guess my biggest problem is I want to hunt your land because, very seldom do I get a super nice deer during shooting hours on any land parcel. So worrying about what other people think, are you trying to impress them or what's going on there?
Yeah. Are you posting that? Are you posting those questions just for attention?
Right.
That could be it as well. But, what you shoot, it should be entirely up to you.
Right.
It shouldn't be based on what people on a particular page say, asking, say, 1,500 people, well, what do you think? Like, well, it shouldn't matter. Why are you out there? What is it that you want to gain from?
And what do the outdoors mean to you? In the end, it's you and that animal.
Exactly.
So regardless, and you should be proud of what you shoot. Now there's size shaming, like I shot a doe and then 2 more doe on gun season, and I was happy as hell.
Right.
But somebody says, really, you shot Bambis? You shot the babies? Yeah, they were small, but I'm telling you right now that they're delicious because I've been eating them nonstop. And, 3 deer, I'm not out to impress you. I don't really care what you think. I did it legally. I didn't,
Right.
So, people shaming, you should have let that buck go another year. He could have been a 12-pointer or, So they're shaming other guys or people, I shouldn't say guys, other hunters. You should have let it go one more year. Maybe that guy's in an area where that's the top buck.
You don't know how much time that individual has to spend in the outdoors either. Some guys only are able to get out a few weekends in the fall, and they're not. Any hunter that says they don't want to shoot a big buck is lying. But at the same time, if you only have X amount of hours to spend out in the field, you're gonna be happy with. And that's the one thing that I think bothers me the most is because I feel like now there's so many individuals that don't want to post pictures. They don't want to share their excitement for fear of being shamed.
Right.
Or talked down to because it wasn't what somebody else would have shot. And that's just not right.
Just congratulate them or shut up.
Right. If you don't have anything good to say, move on.
And we had that on our community page last year, and hopefully we corrected it. This gal, I won't mention her name, but she not only was she in a sundress, she was, I think, in a canoe or a kayak. And they were just fishing, bass fishing, I think, or just whatever fishing.
Yep.
She hooked into a pretty darn nice muskie.
Right.
And she kept it. I think she was going to get it mounted.
Yeah.
But somebody said, oh, you shouldn't have done that. It's way too small. Get a replica. Well,
it was a legal muskie. She caught it.
It was her first muskie.
First muskie on top of it. Yeah.
She wasn't planning on it. It's not like she was out fishing with your fishing gear. She was in a sundress, just enjoying a nice stroll in a kayak.
Yeah, and she managed to reel in a really nice muskie.
So I don't know if that person was, jealous.
Well, I think some of that is. I mean, I get, the muskie thing to an extent, because you can get replicas in that made. But at the end of the day, what she did was completely legal.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's something obviously that she does on a regular basis.
And it was her first.
It was her very first muskie. And what the heck?
You don't always know that person's story behind it.
Right.
But on the other hand, I've seen some of these replicas. I was actually looking at them before the show. Cabela's has, buy a replica for like $300 or something. Man, those things look as plastic can be.
Sure.
They look nothing like the fish. I mean, they look horrible.
And then what are you going to do too? Like, you're in a kayak, in a sundress. How, you want to get nice pictures and all these kinds of things. How are you going to pull that off when you're out on a kayak? You want to get some nice pictures with it, all these kinds of things. If she tries to get to shore with the thing,
right?
What is she going to do? Stick it down by her feet, while she gets to shore and somebody comes over and takes pictures? Like, come on, like.
Well, what would you do if you're in a kayak in a sundress?
I can honestly say that scenario has never happened, and I don't foresee it happening.
Just checking.
I don't think it's going to happen anytime in the near future, just to be completely honest with you. But if it did...
You don't think so? There is a chance.
If it did, I think I would have done the same thing that she did.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's perfect point. Right on our own community page, somebody's passion, and we put the kibosh on there right away. We want everybody to share their outdoor experiences. So,
right.
Yeah, you shouldn't be bashed or belittled. Too many keyboard warriors out there. They're just hiding behind. And, would they have said that to her?
I think
face to face? I don't know.
There's a culture going on, I think, right now of it's just of people that are miserable in their own lives and just need to vent. And that, I think, is one aspect of what social media does. Is it's a venting tool, good, bad, or the otherwise. People use it sometimes to just let out their frustration, and they truly find gratification. I don't understand it, by putting down others, by correcting others constantly, being the grammar police. Again, I said it a little while ago. If you don't have something productive to say, good to say, why can't you just keep scrolling?
Yeah.
Move on. I've seen this so many times on all sorts of different pages, where a 15-year-old kid has legitimate questions. And sure, to a lot of us experienced hunters or fishermen or anything like that, it seems arbitrary, it seems small, it seems unimportant, it seems obvious, right? We get that.
Right.
But to somebody just starting out, when I was 15 years old, I didn't know it all. I still don't know it all at 44 years old. So when they're asking legitimate questions, as obvious as it may seem, and then you get people like, well, there's this thing called Google. Well, sure. But isn't that what some of these pages are about?
Exactly.
They're there for people to ask questions. We should be helping each other. Now, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of people that do help in that. But then the whole conversation ends up becoming just an argument about be nice, it's just like a back and forth. And then next thing you know, this kid who asked the question is nowhere to be seen.
I just want to know how
he's like
worked.
He's gone. Like he or she's gone, and now they're
That's
completely frustrated, upset.
Right.
Who knows what they're feeling? Yeah. Dejected, I'm sure. And what was accomplished there?
Right.
Do you feel better about yourself now that you said that? Now that you said something negative to this person? Do you feel better? Is your pillow gonna be softer? Is it gonna be colder on your pillow tonight? Is it gonna be cool?
Right.
Like, come on. Like, it's so frustrating.
Well, we were talking about people, eventually they just stop sharing, right?
Yeah, they'll just leave.
But I think
they'll just leave social media altogether too.
Sort of an offshoot of that is a lot of guys they shoot a deer and right away their comment is, Well, it's not my biggest, but so it's like they feel shame for it. Not being the world record, Boone and Croc or Pope and Young. They're already they know the negative's coming.
Right.
So they're saying, hey, I already got a bigger one, so I'm just doing this, or it's just a meat deer, or because they're sort of anticipating the negative coming.
Right. Having to try to justify.
There you go.
Their kill.
Yeah.
Trying to, whatever the reason is, and that's fine. I mean, but because when you're doing that, you're actually you're not respecting that animal either. You're just saying, well, I just took this one, because in that. Now, there's reasons. Now, I feel like I'm somewhat guilty of that to an extent. I never intended it that way. Like this year, I took a smaller buck than what I typically had been shooting for years before.
I like that buck.
But I was super stoked about taking it. And it wasn't this thing where when I posted, well, I've shot bigger or, I didn't make excuses for it. I explained why I took this animal because I was going to not spend as much time out hunting away from my family with having a small child at home and that. I wanted to spend a little more time. But and again, I almost feel like right now I'm making excuses for it. You know what I mean?
No, but
really, because and it's like why am I even doing that? Why would I even say that? I shouldn't have to say anything.
Right.
I was super happy with the animal. I still am.
I thought it was a nice deer.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just this because this is perception that, especially I think with social media now. It's like if you're not shooting the biggest animal, if you're not shooting or catching the biggest fish, you don't stack up to others. You feel lesser than.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think people also sort of forget that, when you're trying to compare yourselves to a lot of these folks, they're professional fishermen or, they see it on a TV show or a deer hunting show or whatnot. These guys can make quite a decent living off of hunting, or they have big leases and they've been grooming the deer and the land for years.
Right.
So
everybody's situation is different. Not everybody has the same opportunities.
Right.
In that some people have the luxury of owning their own land, leasing land. Some people have to hunt public land. Some people choose to hunt public land. Some people have a nice big fishing boat. Some people have to fish from the shore. Some people have to go out in a canoe or a kayak, whatever it is. Not everybody's situation is the same. But we should all be in this thing together and support each other, not tear each other down. And one other aspect of social media, and it's not just like some of the things we just talked about, but I would say it's also the industry itself. And one of the things that you and I kind of briefly talked about, and I want to preface this whole section by saying, like, do not take this as we have anything against female hunters, huntresses, and that's actually a good point. For any female hunters or huntresses out there, what do you prefer to be called? I mean, do you want to just be called a hunter, or do you like the term huntress?
Yeah,
I've often wondered about that because do you have to put a label on that per se? I mean, because I've seen it on all different levels. Yeah. But with that being said, does sex sell hunting products?
And I'm guessing, and what we're talking about here is there's always some hot babe in like a bikini or tight clothes.
Not always, but I mean,
with this.
Certain things in social media, you see that where again, this is not to take away from any female hunters out there, anything that, regardless of anything, because there's extremely talented female hunters, and I'm friends with a ton of them.
Oh, yeah.
And it has nothing to do with looks or anything like that. Or
I wonder if it isn't demeaning to them.
I almost wonder, like when you see, say, all right, like a bikini bow fishing page or something like that. And that's not to say that these women maybe aren't good bow fishermen either, but that's not what they're selling there.
Right.
They're selling the
bow
Daisy
or
Duke, Daisy Duke shorts and the bikini top and that, and
with their sponsorship.
Yeah.
Or if you look, their what do you call it? Their I'm an affiliate or sponsored by, or what do you call it? You know,
A
all
team
the-
member, staff member,
Right.
pro staff.
You know, here comes the staff member picks. You can see it every spring and fall. And, you know, they're 45 pro staffs kind of thing. You know, never heard of them. They haven't really hunted much, but now they're all on a pro staff, and it's not because of their skills.
Right.
I think it's demeaning to other women, but
That are out
That-
there, that are out in the outdoors, that
Yeah.
are true outdoors men or women. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's huntresses. I don't know. Again, somebody tell me what is the proper vernacular for this here, because I really want to
But-
know.
but in lieu of all that, do you buy a product because there's a hot chick promoting it?
I don't buy a product because of anybody promoting anything.
What about me?
No, definitely not you. 100% not you. And that's a fact.
Well, there you go. There goes our sponsorship, folks. He won't buy anything. Why would you?
No, I for me, when it comes to products, like I'm not going to be more intrigued because of who is promoting it or the face behind it or anything like that. I'm going to go based off of either what reviews from other people who have used it or from using it myself, plain and simple.
Well, sex sells in almost every industry. Why
It
wouldn't
does.
it in the outdoors?
And it does. It absolutely 100%.
I just don't
does.
get how. I mean, I understand it does, but I sure as heck wouldn't buy a Yeti cooler because there's a hot chick sitting on one in a picture.
And I wouldn't buy a Yeti cooler anyways.
Well, nor I, but
know, like-
I'm just saying. You know, that's one of the photos I've seen recently.
Speaking of Yeti, I'm looking over at producer Drew's canteen over there, and he's sporting a little Yeti action there. And
Well, that's because Drew knows Bigfoot is real.
I'm gonna buy a Sasquatch mug. Do they make those?
I have one upstairs.
Do you really?
Yeah, everybody knows it's called a Sam Squatch.
Sam
Sand
Squatch.
switch. All right. So, anyways, yeah, I'd be interested in knowing: are we huntresses or what do we want to be called?
Just hunters.
But
maybe,
what
just-
what does it? What's the point? 45, pro staff teams kind of thing for one person. I don't know. It just when you see that, it gets old.
Right. I mean, and I
Keep
don't.
scrolling.
I have no problem with pro staffing or being a team member in that. I am for a couple, but that actually brings up another good point too. Is the word pro staff, and I feel like a lot of companies have actually gone away from using that term.
Yep.
Because it comes across as professional is what the pro is.
Yeah.
And it's not. That's not what pro staff. It's promotional. It's about
Right.
promoting a product, and that's what the pro is. Not professional.
Right.
Being a pro staff does not make you a professional, and that's why a lot of companies have gone on to say you're either a member of our tribe or a team member. Or
Right.
So
a
does that
field
mean I'm
staff.
pro staff now? I'm pro staff. 'Cause
Um,
I'm definitely anything but professional.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you are.
If we pay him $1, he's a pro.
Is there like a cashier level? No,
Don't
that's
say that.
No,
They're going
right,
to $15 an hour.
right. And I just offended lots of cashiers. I'm sorry.
All right, let's get
Let's
back
just
to
back
this.
that up. Just roll that one back there.
All right, so back to the social media part. Other stuff with the social media, I think a lot of people are missing out on experiencing how we did, where you go out and learn by trial and error.
Are we losing woodsmanship?
Right. We had magazines, right?
Yeah,
Growing
and-
up,
and books.
and books. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I used to.
There was a building that had a lot of books in there. I forget what they call them.
It started with an L. Library. Library.
There you go.
I used to go to the library, and I used to check out all the books by Leonard Lee Rue III. Way of the Whitetail and that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like my Bible.
No,
growing up and reading Deer and Deer Hunting and
right. Now print is dead. I mean, there are still magazines.
Right. And I still
But
like to pick them up.
They're like
from time to
$7
time.
or $8 a piece now. But
I still like picking up a magazine once in a while,
and
especially.
then you open it and all the inserts fall out.
Sure.
But
yeah, so back in the day, a lot of it was trial and error. It was going out there, it was figuring things out for yourself.
you read about it. Hey, let's try this. That didn't work. Go back. What's next? You know. Right now, you can watch video after video. In fact, you can go out in the woods and watch video after video on your cell phone.
Right. While
This
you're
didn't
actually
work.
sitting.
I'm still there.
Yeah, while you're sitting in your stand. Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's a good thing. Some positive. You can learn.
Most
right?
definitely. But is there anything lost there? Are we losing something about, I think there's something to be said about going out into the field and learning things for yourself and not having to be told, well, this is the way you need to do this. And have maybe a dozen different ways of doing it because so-and-so says you need to do it this way. This person says you need to do it that way. This expert says, no, it's got to be done like this.
I think you lose the personal experience.
Right. I mean,
You're already following somebody else's guideline instead of figuring it out on your own. And I don't know.
So-
I really like that.
I would chalk that up into both a good and a bad.
Sure.
Because yes, it is a wonderful tool to hop on your phone or your laptop or whatever and access just endless amounts of information out there. Now, that also leads to another topic of the goods and bads of social media, the amount of false information that is spread.
Or partially true.
Variations of the truth there. That's a big one. And I think big on even outside, even more so outside of the outdoors, but I think that's a big aspect in the outdoor realm is the misinformation, people spreading myths, rumors,
Sure.
maybe even conspiracy theories like we talked about earlier.
like the Bigfoot thing. The state of Oklahoma didn't
Back to the Bigfoot thing. Bigfoot is not real.
the state didn't offer $2 million. It was some producer, but everybody's saying the state, So it's little bit like that.
I think that goes along with clickbait because people only read headlines instead of actually clicking on and reading articles because they're usually two different things. Your headline is one thing, and then you actually read the article, and it's like, oh, well, there's a lot more to this story than what that headline just said.
And then a lot of articles, you have to take it, with a grain of salt. How true is it? And
Right. What's the source?
Right.
Where did it come from?
One person's opinion.
Right.
Where's the fact? So, yeah, there's a lot of false information.
Are they citing
spread.
sources? Things like that. I mean, opinions are great. We all have them, and just like we do. And I hope nobody really takes what we say too seriously because we don't proclaim to be experts in any field.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, and nobody takes you serious. Nobody.
Your face, yeah. And
Even your dog looks at you funny. Like, I've seen Bigfoot Charlie look at you like,
yeah.
what are you talking about?
All right, so there's a lot of negative out there, but there is good parts of social media.
Oh, 100%. Because for like we talked about before with the bashing in that, for every negative comment, I would say there's almost equal amount of people who are willing to help, answer those questions, help a young person out. And as most of you have probably seen on social media in the last week here, a Facebook post that's been roaming around here about a 75-year-old hunter, 75-year-old man who had applied for a bear tag and he drew. And from what I understand, he's never bear hunted before. Here we got it up here on the screen here.
Right.
This is something that he had posted on a local bulletin board or on several, and one individual happened to take a picture of it, and it spread like wildfire here, at least in Wisconsin. I'm sure it branched out a little bit beyond there. Local news stations picked it up. It's been all over social media. Chris, what was your first thoughts when you originally saw this post?
Well, a gal posted it on my Facebook page and said, Chris, can you help this guy? Because I'm involved with a couple different groups where we can save up our bear points and, donate hunts kind of thing, donate the points. However, I'm reading this and I'm thinking, all right, here's a guy that he got lucky, he wasn't ready. And here now he wants someone to bait for him. He wants the land and he wants them to drag it out for him. People pay a lot of money. I'm thinking this guy's going to have a tough sell. He's 75. Is he playing the I'm too old kind of thing and feel sorry for me? Mm-hmm. And I even responded to her saying, there's nothing I can do, but I think it's going to be a hard sell. And then I was talking to you, 2 days later, and you had told me go ahead.
Well, that there was an outpouring of people willing to help. And I'll be honest with you, too. I somewhat felt the same way. I was a little bit taken back when I was like, wow, you applied for a bear tag, but you don't have a place to go. You don't have you're not set up at all. You have no plan in place in that. And it's kind of funny when you think about that because of what we're talking about right now. What was both of our first instincts? It was something negative,
Well, the thought was because just the thought of he wants somebody to do everything for him.
Sure.
He didn't say, he wasn't begging, he wasn't demanding anything.
No.
But he's, I need this, and this. Can somebody help? And
he was just basically putting it out there.
Right.
This is, I would love to do this kind of a thing, but, I'm limited.
Right.
This is the things I'm going to need and hey, you don't know unless you ask kind of a thing. It's like the whole going out and knocking doors to ask permission to hunt land. A lot of people are hesitant to do it because they're expecting a no. They're expecting, to be shut down. But you ask enough people.
In the end, all they can do is say no.
Right. Exactly.
That's the worst.
And I'm assuming that, I'm assuming this gentleman being 75 years old and having posted it on bulletin boards, probably doesn't use social media.
I would guess that you are correct, but you just don't know.
And again, had he posted that himself on there, one wonders what the initial, it would have been the same,
Right.
I don't feel like I wasn't I didn't feel like, oh, well, this guy is nuts. But at first I was a little taken back. I was like, well, that's kind of,
I didn't even think about it that way.
You know what I mean?
But somebody else took the picture and posted it. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
And it, like you said, it spread like wildfire. People, as from the last I heard, and this was probably almost a week ago now, that he had multiple different options and he was going to be visiting different locations and meet with the different people that are offering up the help, and he was going to pick from there. So, which I think is great. 75 years old, you find, you've always wanted to go on a bear hunt. You finally, get that opportunity. Hey, and that is absolutely 100% one of the great things about social media.
Right.
GoFundMe's, for people that, are down and out, came into a bad situation. There's definitely a lot of great things about social media. And I think it really comes down to the individual, how you are going to approach social media. Are you going to be somebody that's willing to be positive and helpful, or are you going to be a person that comes across as callous, jealous, crude, rude, obnoxious, an asshole? Which one are you going to be?
So it worked for this 75-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to hunt some nice, giant deer. I'd like to have it on your land, 200 acres. I don't want you baiting. No joke. I'm older. If you drag it out for me, drive me out there and drag the deer out for me.
You are
field
old.
Dress it. Nothing shorter than or smaller than, say, Boone and Crockett. So I'm putting that out there for you guys. Can anybody accommodate me? let's give it a shot.
Well, we just did say, if you don't ask.
Well, right. And you should have asked for me. That way it doesn't look like I'm asking.
You're on your own on this one.
All right.
I actually have that about that amount of land to lease.
Yeah,
and,
I know. Thanks for inviting me. Anyway, let's keep going.
Not many
on this.
booners, though.
Oh, you got some nice deer.
So,
All right. Yep. So
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's
not to beat a dead horse, but
right. I mean, has social media, how much do you think it's really affected the outdoor industry? I mean, sure, there's the good, there's the advertising. I almost feel like things have so saturated. Like,
yeah,
for example, like our Midwest page, this page here that we're streaming on right now, because it's a business page, we have to continually pay to boost posts and things like that. Facebook has this algorithm in place. Has Facebook become so about advertising? And I mean, honestly, I swear sometimes I go through and I'm like, a friend's post, advertisement, friend's post, advertisement, advertisement, another friend. You know, it's like, it's almost 60-40 advertising. And heaven forbid you Google a product, because now you're going to get every variation of that in the ads on Facebook as well. And I'm probably shooting ourselves in the foot right now for even talking about this on the book face.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know.
It gets old.
It's
has almost changed. Like opening the magazine and having all the inserts fall out.
Yeah, just fall out, right?
It's just a different form.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's a lot
good.
of good and bad. If you guys have any thoughts on what you guys think are some good things or some bad things that you've seen on social media, we'd love to hear from you, because I'm sure we've missed some things. I'm just looking over some of our notes here.
Yeah.
We talked about that and that and that.
Well, you know, what do we got coming up here? We got turkey season in like 3-4 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's almost 4 weeks still yet.
Right.
A little less than 4 weeks. In fact, Drew and I were just talking about this the other day. I feel like turkey season is taking forever to get here right now.
Right.
And I think part of it is because we got that warm weather so early, and all the ice melted off the lakes and that. And it's like, well, it must be time to go turkey hunting because there's no ice out in the lakes anymore. So, and here we are still.
Right. And I'm jonesing to go fishing here. So,
right. Once we get the boat fixed, right?
Yeah. And it's going back in. It's nothing major. Not like last year.
No.
This is an in and out. But in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing our next show, are we not?
Yeah, we've got a great show lined up for you guys in 2 weeks. Get that one out of the way. We have coming in studio a special guest. We have
He'll be right here.
Sam Ubel from Chase Nation TV.
Right.
And we are super duper excited to have him in studio. For those of you guys that aren't familiar with Chase Nation, I highly recommend you check out their Chase Nation Facebook page. They have a YouTube channel. They also have an Instagram channel. I won't get into too many different things right now. We'll save a lot of that for our next episode in 2 weeks on April 11th. But a little bit real quick about Sam Ubel, and this is just off of their site. Sam, I'm just going to read this here. He's the man in the editing chair, co-founder, director of brand partnerships and social media outlets, cast member, and video creative. Outside of Chase Nation, Sam has a regular 9-to-5 job, supportive husband and father of 2 adorable little children. Sam got his start in the outdoor sector by writing for hunting and fishing magazines and online media outlets before getting his first shot at filming on the late on the late in DVD series Wisconsin Whitetail Pursuit. Sam would then go on to hunt and film for 2 seasons with the acclaimed DVD series Whitetail Adrenaline before co-founding Chase Nation in 2016. Sam has also been guest numerous times on the Adventure Muskie fishing television series Keys Outdoors, as well as a large number of outdoor streaming podcasts, and coming to you live and in studio on April 11th. He'll be here
April 11th
for the Midwest Racks and Rods Outdoor Show. So we are super duper excited to have
Yeah.
Sam in
We're
studio.
big supporters of Chase Nation.
Yeah, if you guys can see, I've been sporting the Chase Nation hat here all
I don't
show
have one
long.
yet.
Maybe Drew can. There we go.
You got it? Yeah.
You can purchase one of these hats on their Facebook page.
Right.
I think it's on their Facebook page.
You can also go to their website and they got it there, a store.
Yeah.
Shop at their store.
They got a bunch of different hats. I want to get that camo one they have. But anyways,
If you're wondering, like Chase Nation, they are really good storytellers. So,
extremely.
you know, where we can do a video and blah blah blah, but they take it's an art form. I mean, it's great videography, background music. It really tells, I don't know, it's very cinematic, you know,
and they've
very
got
well done.
they've kind of got a couple of different miniseries, and we'll kind of save some of that for Sam to talk about on our next episode. But it's definitely an episode you guys are not going to want to miss. So we will remind you guys as the time gets closer, but that is going to be Sunday, April 11th at, I think we're doing that one slightly earlier that night. I want to, it's either going to be at 6:30 p.m. or 7 p.m. Central Standard Time here.
Okay.
So check back with us for sure on dates and times on that. Again, Sam Ubel, Chase Nation, super stoked to have them in studio. It won't be virtual or anything like that. We're going to have a good time. We're going to crack a few Busch lattes and open up questions from you guys and just have a good time. So check back with us on that.
Right.
But
yeah,
other
I'm
than
excited.
that, oh, absolutely. I guess other than that, we're going to wrap this show up here tonight. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in to another episode of the Midwest Racks and Rods Outdoor Show.
Thanks for joining us.
And until next time, always outdoors.